Hello everyone and welcome to this 8th and last match of the second round of the Clash of the Clans. Finally, if I may say. So here we go for this 8th and final match of the second round. Three-way deployment as usual. We've got on the right, on the left and in the middle. Quite a symmetrical deployment with the Recon Gazelle Cannon and some helicopter transports on the right side. Same thing on the left side. Recon helicopter, Gazelle Cannon and Black Hawks with infantry in it, probably Delta forces. We've got the commander, more or less defended to follow and capture sectors on the left side. Same thing on the right, but with a bit more firepower. We've got Model 1s, M901 TOWs, which are very good ATGM vehicles, Vulcans, Chieftains, Chaparral, and so on and so forth. In the middle, we've got a few units going on the left side, but a big blob of Diesel's 1 MK20 units going in straight in the middle. It's what I like to call a brainless assault. It's just basically amassing a big amount of units and just charging in the middle. No offense to anyone, it's just simple and not always efficient, but we always hope it will work out when we do this. We don't really control it once we launch it. Regarding the support, we've got 4 MLRS units and 2 going to shoot right now, so 4 MLRS units on the NATO side. On the PACT side, we've got 4 Malcals, in the middle over here, and 4 MSTA-5s on the left side. We've got deployment on the left and the right, with commanders over here and over here, with a fairly small, well, nearly inexistent defense, if I might say. November is captured with also a very small defense and very risky, but for now the NATO, well, especially, with the NATO coming in quite fast with a big army. But the first encounter will, of course, take place in the middle of the map with this first army, Model 1s, Bradley, and the big Challenger 1 being the heart of the defense over here, and the Diesels that, of course, will probably charge on the right side and try to deal as much damage as they can. First shot of MLRS. The Diesels were probably waiting for this shot, and they will, that's it, they were waiting for the MLRS shot, and they are coming in right after the shot. Unfortunately, the artillery firing is pretty bad, if I may say. They miss they miss totally the major part of the PACT army. The Diesels are charging into the middle of the map. Unfortunately, the PACT army is quite well deployed and hitting the Diesels from every side. They are getting quite big hits with ATGMs and tanks like the BMP-6H5, and most of the Diesels that aren't killed are totally panicking, which is pretty bad for the NATO offensive. This, once again, brainless assault is totally stopped without dealing that much damage. All the Diesels are killed, and once more the MLRS are shooting, and it seems like the only thing they are going to kill are their own Diesels. And here we go, one is killed by the MLRS fire. So in the middle of the map, quite a big push from NATO side, but totally stopped by the nice PACT reaction with a nice deployment of tanks and ATGM troops. And over here, well, the NATO has still quite a big army with Model 1s, a Bradley, a few helicopters with the heavy hogs, and one big Challenger 1 ready to kick the ass of any big unit coming in. 500 points to 300, a bit more points spent on the PACT side, even if well, it doesn't really feel like that when we look at the map. So on the left side, we've got the NATO forces pushing in on Foxtrot and sending already one commander to capture the sector. On the PACT side, we've got a defensive position, but no real attack preparing. On the right side, it's very quiet. No real encounter over here. Over here, a bit more. The NATO forces are ready to attack onto November, where very few defenses are present. 5 T-55s have arrived, but that will be very small defense to stop the Jaegers and the Chieftains. Back in the middle, well, for now it seems like the NATO armies, composed essentially of Model 1s and a Challenger 1, are pushed back by the PACT forces. Their infantry are getting killed, but the MSTA-5s and, of course, the ATGMs have done quite a good job. The NATO troops are pulling back behind, below the hill, and hoping that they will be able to stop the PACT offensive. PACT offensive, which has, well, if I may say, globally been stopped they are just concentrating on their defense on Juliet, but the Pact have taken advantage. In the middle of the map, they are controlling Juliet, and one commander is arriving to capture Echo. On the left side, Foxtrot is going to be captured. On the right side, one commander is arriving onto Mike. So in terms of map control, for now it seems like the NATO players have a small advantage. They've got Foxtrot and Mike. Well, they will have them in a couple of seconds. They haven't got Alpha, but the Pact hasn't got India, and in the middle, well, it's in the Pact's favor. But Mike compensates for Juliet, so NATO players have a better income, especially with Oscar that isn't captured by the Pact forces. So a nice income advantage for the NATO players. In terms of points, it's quite balanced. Income advantage for the NATO players. Even if they are getting pushed back in Echo, they are still managing to hold, especially with the help of the Challenger 1, which is going to be pretty hard to take down. Well, the tanks over here, the BMP 685s, won't be able to take it down. They aren't strong enough. The BMP 2s could, but they don't have. They are empty. They have no more ATGMs left, so it's going to be pretty hard. The Challenger 1 is going to just kill the BMP 2s. And here we go, one is down, and the Motostrelkis in it will just start panicking. It's going to be pretty hard for the Pact players to take out the Challenger 1. I'm going to speed things up a little. On the left side, the NATO players have controlled Foxtrot and are starting to push. They have sent a few recon units. Recon infantry is really good. For those of you who don't know, they are pretty damn good. Well, I'll probably make a training video on recon later on, but just to say something, infantry is the only troop that is a bit sneakier than the rest. Small units get detected as fast as big units, but infantry squads are a bit more sneakier, so that's quite good to have infantry recon. It's pretty nice. Coming back to the middle of the map, small encounters between small tanked and also cannon units. The Pact players are pushing forward with their infantry, but the Challenger 1 and the few Marders left are still there to avoid a total loss of the Echo sector. Over here in November, the Malkas are starting shelling the NATO position. NATO troops who haven't pushed yet onto November. They could have done it. They have a small superiority, but now the superiority is, well, the commander is nearly killed over here. The NATO forces are pushed back by the artillery, but it's the same thing to, well, the NATO forces are pushing back the commander with a nice MLRS shooting, and nearly, well, half of the hit points of the commander have been destroyed. Coming back on the right side, it's still no offensive over here. NATO and Pact forces are just waiting for the other to make a move. One more MLRS shooting over here. The BRDM-2U is taking a few hits, only 2 hit points left, and he is just getting away miraculously. Unfortunately, the MLRS seems to be shooting once more. It seems to be shooting once more in the same direction. Fuchs, yeah, if I can say so. Fuchs are charging with the Jaggers. The commander is destroyed. The Jaggers are pushing in. Unfortunately, the Malkas are just slaughtering them. HE7 is just killing those infantry units really quickly. So the Malkas shelling have pushed back the NATO troops, and the Pact units are counter-attacking, and one BRDM-2U has been sent in to recapture November as soon as they lost it. The BRDM-2U here is pulling back from Echo thanks to the MLRS shelling, but it will undoubtedly come back quite soon. On Foxtrot, we've got a small sneaky attack with empty transport, but the Pact defense is quite thick, and they stop them and kill them. One Fuchs has, unfortunately for the Pact players, gone through the defense and will probably try to see what is happening behind the Pact lines, but one recon is over here to make sure no one is going around and attacking India from behind. Even if a Fuchs isn't really a menace, it could still do some damage if undetected. On the right side, still no offensive over here, no commander sent onto Oscar. November isn't captured by the Pact players, but it won't last long. The BRDM-2U is just here, and they are probably waiting for a better defense to capture November. We've got IUF units called in by the NATO troops, and the BRDM-2U is moving forward, just taking position just on the hill here and hoping he won't get detected by the NATO recons. Over here, small offensive by the PACT NATO forces with a few autocannon units. Will they be able to do some damage? Yeah, it looks like so. The Jaegers are disembarking. Nice combination of autocannon and infantry units. Unfortunately, they don't manage to do that much damage. Well, they still kill everything, but there is still quite a nice defense over here. It will be quite hard for this army to do any damage on hotel sector, especially with Mi-17 helicopters coming in with their rockets. So at this point of the game, the front line is more or less stabilized at this, well, like this. The left and right flanks are controlled by the NATO forces, with once more a push in Oscar, well, once more the push starting on Oscar. And Echo is still not controlled by both teams. Even if a BRDM2U is just next to the sector, they should start controlling it. One CPC is coming in, and the Echo sector will be controlled by the NATO players. Here we go. So in terms of map control, we've got a nice advantage for the NATO players for now. 1,300 points against 1,000 points. The NATO players are taking a small advantage here. The commander is getting shelled by the MSCA-5s. He is pulling back. Hopefully only 2 HPs have been lost. And once again, the MLRS are killing the enemy infantry. Diesels once more are called by the NATO forces, but the PACT seems to have quite a nice defense to hold against a small autocannon offensive. And the MLRS shooting, but dealing no damage whatsoever. Big infantry push in the middle of the map. We've got Jaeger disembarking over here. Hopefully the PACT players have reacted quite nicely to this push. Artillery plus rocket helicopters just slaughter this NATO offensive. The commander hasn't been killed, even if he has pulled back into India. The NATO players have, well, regained control of the forest on the left side of Echo, but apart from that, this offensive was well, more or less a failure, if I might say so. It was stopped pretty easily by the PACT troops. Nonetheless, even if they lost a lot amount of infantry here, they have a big point advantage and still very nicely control the map. Coming back into Echo shelled by the Malkas, of course. This game is starting to stabilize with these sectors we can see right now. On the left side, still the same thing. We've got artillery shelling there, well, here and there, obliging the commanders to pull back and come back in the sectors. The players just have to be careful of the enemy artillery, pull back the commanders and put them back in the sectors now and then, but other than that, it's a pretty much stabilized game with a nice advantage for the NATO forces. They control the map, they have a nice point advantage with more than 1,000 points ahead from the PACT players. And at this point in the game, well, the PACT players should have spent all their points to counter-attack. Now it's too late, they have 2,000 unused points and they have lost the game in pretty much a few seconds. So here we go. Nice win for the... well, they just spent points, oh my god. Okay, now they're gonna win. Here we go. Nice win for the NATO players. 3,940 points versus 2,470 points for the PACT RKKA team. So a big economic advantage, nice kill advantage, of course, reflects this victory for the NATO forces. Once again, players don't seem to really master the economic gameplay that much right now. With just think about it 2 seconds. How can you lose an economic game with 2,400 points? I mean, at one point you've got to think you need to spend those points to counter-attack and regain the advantage, or at least rebalance the game. If you wait too much, spending those points will just be a waste of time. By the time your units arrive, they can just defend a little, pull back and earn the last points they need to earn in order to win the game. So they should have spent all their points like 10 minutes, well, 5 or 10 minutes before the end of the game, and in order to push back the NATO players. But it didn't happen, so the game ended at 33 minutes and 22 seconds. So once again, quite a nice match. It was the last match of the second round. Third round coming in as quick as I can. Thanks for watching, I hope you liked it, and remember, special video will probably come in for the 1000 subscribers. Pretty much coming, that means like 99.9% of chances. Thanks for watching, I hope you liked it, and see you next time.